On April 8, 2025, a diplomatic crisis erupted between the world's two largest economies. US Vice President J.D. Vance mocked the Chinese people, calling them peasants. Beijing responded with fierce anger. But behind the mockery lies a shocking truth. China is no longer the sleeping giant Americans once imagined. Today, it stands as the most formidable rival the United States has ever faced. The story begins in October 1967. Former President Richard Nixon publishes an article in Foreign Affairs magazine titled Asia After Vietnam. In it, he writes, "The world cannot be safe until China changes." A few years later, Nixon visits Beijing in 1972, and so begins Washington's strategy of engagement. Integrate China into the global economy, transform it, eventually, into a capitalist, maybe even democratic state. In 2001, that vision comes true. China joins the World Trade Organization, and America believes it now holds China's future in its hands. But China had a different strategy. It followed the advice of Deng Xiaoping: hide your strength, bide your time. From 2000 to 2008, Chinese exports multiplied sixfold, from $253 billion to over $1.5 trillion. While America was bogged down in Afghanistan and Iraq, China was quietly building its empire. As Chinese diplomat Jian Man said, "What we've achieved so far is only the beginning." Today, China produces 3 times more than the United States. Let's look at the numbers. Cement, 20 times more than the US. Steel, 13 times more. Cars, 3 times more. Energy, double the output. China produces half of the world's chemicals, half of the global commercial ships, 2/3 of electric vehicles, and 90% of the world's solar panels. Militarily, China is undergoing the fastest modernization in history and is now building the largest naval fleet on Earth. But the United States is making 3 fatal mistakes. First, underestimating China. Second, alienating its allies. And third, overestimating its own strength. Let's look at the trade war. US exports to China, $143 billion. Chinese exports to the US, $439 billion. Trump believed China was losing the trade war, but in reality, the gun is pointed at the head of the American economy. Europe now produces more steel and automobiles than the US. Its industrial workforce is 3 times larger. These are the allies Trump mocked and pushed away. Meanwhile, China is building the largest development project in modern history, the Belt and Road Initiative, 10 times the size of the Marshall Plan. And as America isolates itself, one question emerges. Are we witnessing America's Gorbachev moment? Modern China is a landscape of skyscrapers, smart cities, and advanced robotics. And the United States? According to economist Adam Posen, it's entering the economic version of the Vietnam War. And we all know how that war ended. So the question now is, will America recognize reality before it is too late? Or will China succeed where the Soviet Union failed? Subscribe to Decoding MENA for more deep dive analysis into the shifting balance of global power.